Good day, students. In this tutorial video, I'm going to discuss with you about formal letter, what a formal letter is and how to write a formal letter, or some of the points that must be taken into consideration when you are writing a formal letter. A formal letter is also known as a business letter. A formal letter is a letter which is addressed or written to organizations when you are seeking for jobs or laying a complaint or giving suggestions, etc. It depends on what the reasons are for writing that formal letter, so long this letter is being addressed to any organizations. For grade 12 students, whether you are doing core or extended, during examination, when you are writing a formal letter, you are not required to include the sender's address or the receiver's address. That is not for grade 12 level. So the answering, when you are given the question paper, the answering space will start with the salutation. For you, it's just to complete in the name of the person, and then it continues from there. Now let's look at some of the things that you are not allowed to do when you are writing a formal letter. No greeting, no informal language or contractions. When we talk of formal and informal language, let's look at this one. For example, when you say, I want you to come, and the other one says, I would like you to come. So I want you to come is informal language. I would like you to come is formal language. So we are required to make use of formal language when we are writing a formal letter or business letter. So you don't need to use contractions such as don't, couldn't, or can't. You need to write in full. Do not, could not, or cannot. So you are not allowed to make use of slangs. So use formal language, appropriate tone, or register. It's very much important that you read the question carefully, adhere to the prompts, and you need to develop the prompts properly as you are writing your letter. So let's look at the structure. So you have your salutation, you skip a line, then you have the subject. The subject is what the letter is all about. Do not underline it once it's written in capital letters, unless it's written in small letters. Use re only when you are responding to a letter or giving reference to what you read in the newspaper, saw on TV, or heard on the radio. So if you are the first time writer, you don't have to make use of re when you are writing a formal letter. Then under content, you are expected to have 3 paragraphs. Remember, 150 words means 3 paragraphs. The first paragraph must cover the first prompt, the second paragraph to the third paragraph. You need to cover the prompts. So in the first paragraph, you don't have to introduce yourself. My name is Mbango Matthews. I live in Rundu. I'm writing this letter to talk about or complaining or requesting. It's not allowed. During examination, in general, yes. In everyday life, yes. But remember these examinations. So you are not allowed to do that. The first paragraph, cover the first prompt, and then the second, the third, just like that. Then from there, you have your anticipation. What we mean with anticipation is what you expect in return after you've written this letter. For example, I look forward to your prompt and positive response. Then from there, you skip your line, you sign off. Yours truly, Matthews Mbango. Now, you can only use yours sincerely if you stated the name of the person on salutation. For example, dear Mr. Mbango Lucas. That means when I sign off, I can now make use of yours sincerely. Yours faithfully can only be used once you have started with, or once you stated dear, sir, or madam on salutation. But you can also make use of yours truly, which is applicable in both cases, whether you started with dear, sir, or madam, or with the name of the person. You can make use of yours truly. Now let's look at the structure of a formal letter. Like I said, you have your salutation, dear, sir, or madam. Then from there you skip a line, you have your subject. In this case, noise pollution in Kehemu. But remember, I'm using re because perhaps I'm responding to a letter which I read in the newspaper, which talks about noise pollution in Kehemu, and this letter did not give a true picture of my neighborhood, Kehemu. So I then need now to respond to this letter. If the question is asking me to respond to this letter to defend my neighborhood, then I need now to make use of re. Then from there I state now noise pollution in Kehemu. Noise pollution in Kehemu That means it's what I'm going to talk about, and then this re shows that I'm giving a reference to what I read or to what I heard on TV, but in this case to what I read in the newspaper. So paragraph 1 must consist of first prompt, paragraph 2 second prompt, paragraph 3 third prompt. Then from there I have my anticipation. Anticipation, like I said, what you are expected in return after you have written this letter. Then from there you sign off. It's very much important that you avoid flaws in paragraphing. Now let's look at this question. For example, recently in your local newspaper you read a letter of complaint about the noise level in your neighborhood. This letter did not give the true picture of the beautiful neighborhood that you love so much. Write a letter to the newspaper in which you defend your neighborhood. Your letter should explain why you do not agree with this with the published letter, discuss reasons why you love your neighborhood. Also, comment on the attractions in your neighborhood. So this letter must be 150 words long. So in other words, in this case, after I have written my salutation, then I have written my subject. The first paragraph here must cover this prompt, why I do not agree with the published letter. I must not introduce myself, where I live. It's not necessary. This is examination. If it could be it's like in normal life, how we write letters, yes. But since it's an examination, I don't have to include those things. So I must just stick to the prompt. So I must explain why I do not agree with this published letter. But I should not lift this prompt to my paragraph by saying, I'm now explaining, let me explain why I do not agree with this published letter. Then I will not get good marks because I'm just copying that to my paragraph. I must just explain why without telling the examiner or the marker that now I am stating the reasons why I do not agree with the published letter. Then in the second paragraph, I need to discuss reasons why I love my neighborhood. And then from there, remember I only have 2 points here. The third paragraph, I must now talk about the attractions in my neighborhood. I need now to divide this second point because it has reasons why I love my neighborhood and also attractions in my neighborhood. So remember, one paragraph, one idea. So my third paragraph will cover now the attractions in my neighborhood. Then from there, once I'm done, then I should now be able to write my anticipation. It's my belief that this letter gives a clear picture of our Kehemu suburb. Then from there, yours truly, Matthews Mbangu. What we mean with avoiding flaws in paragraph is that what you were supposed to cover in paragraph 1, what you were supposed to cover in paragraph 1 is being covered in paragraph 2. What you were supposed to cover in paragraph 2 is being covered in paragraph 3. So that means flaws in paragraph. At the end of the day, you will not be able to get good marks. So thank you very much for watching. See you next time.